Optimal team comp?
You're right here. I've been sent this more times than I can count. And since my sub count has been spiking lately, I have no issues being a crowd pleaser. So here it is, TierZoo's guide to winning the most famous battle puzzle of 2018. The puzzle goes that you
Politics is a faction system? No, there's like guilds, dude. You got guilds, you got the different servers, you got like the 7 different servers, and then you have guilds within servers that fucking absolutely dominate. And there's this piece of shit fucking guild called the America Guild that literally dominates both the Latin American server, like the South American server, which is a cross section of the original America server, and even like pretty much every other server with the exception of the European server. Like, it's really messed up. It is so fucking OP. They are, and by the way, they have really bad manners. Like, they're literally fucking spawn camping, okay? They absolutely are spawn camping. They go in and they literally just fucking break infrastructure. They break your base. They don't even make use of it. They just break your base and leave it behind. Completely broken. They are massive griefers. They love griefing. It is so fucked up. Half the time when they're griefing, they're obviously doing it because they want your mats or they want your resources. But in other circumstances, sometimes they just grief just to fucking grief. American server has crossplay with other servers, but not the other way around. Yeah, it's really fucked. Their offline rating, absolutely, dude. And you kind of can't get away from them. Now, of course, there's a separate guild that's on the up and up right now, obviously. And I'm not talking about fucking bullshit ass fucking the Russia Guild. Okay, the Russia Guild is bullshit. They talk a big game, but they're a fraction of the size. Now, the Russia build clearly is making a lot of leeway in the MENA servers. Okay, they've definitely started working in the North African server, like the African server, but the northern component of it, and also some parts of Asia as well, which they happen to preside over. So they're tiny. Their influence overall is minuscule. Nothing compares to the American Guild, obviously. But there is one other fucking player-based guild out there in the Asia server that has really come out of the gates swinging in the past couple of decades, and that is, of course, the Chinese Guild. Very powerful. Has been around for a very long time, by the way. Like, OP, one of the oldest fucking guilds in the game. You never really factor in longevity because, like, the most dominant guild in all of the servers is still the America Guild, right? And that's a relatively new one. But, like, China is, kind of like the OG fucking guild, one of the first guilds ever created. And they really use that ancient knowledge to their advantage when they're dominating, when they're doing territorial expansion. Really good lore too. Yeah, really solid lore. Really solid lore. Early on, big technology drivers like OG, some of the first technology drivers out there. They know when the meta changes. Yeah, they adapt well. Why can't you talk about politics like this so the gaming frogs can participate? Yeah. Maybe using the same abbreviation for 2 different concepts isn't the best look, lol. What? TierZoo, but human time? No. I feared that talking about TierZoo for humans is like, would get into like a little bit of race realism or something. You know what I mean? Even if you're just joking, people could take it seriously. That's literally what, like, I was thinking about that while I was talking about like different human specs. And I was like, that's literally what race realists do. Brazil server is the no rule zone. Yeah, no one talks about the Brazilian guild, dude. Listen, the South American server is already like pretty fucking it's pretty chaotic as a consequence of what I just said. The American guild doing territorial expansion and like constantly fucking shit up. But if there's one that is like uniquely chaotic as far as guilds go in that region, in that server, it's the Brazilian one. Absolute madness. They resemble the characteristics of the Turkish guild as well. Over the top bravado, extreme bouts of patriotism for no fucking reason whatsoever when there's virtually nothing to be patriotic about in terms of your guild. Okay, just like the Turks. Like guild wise, they're pretty much they're like sister guilds. You know what I mean? They absolutely operate in a similar capacity. Surprisingly large economies that they participate in, just like the Turkish guild and the Brazilian guild. Like you would not expect it, but very large economies, but not necessarily a lot of political impact. Also, both of these guilds have recently gone through restructuring, where the leadership had internal strife. And the new leadership of either of these guilds is not good at all. Both of them have really authoritarian leanings, so not looking too good for the guild members so far.
You can choose 2 groups of animals from the options on this list. Real quick, that's a choice between 50 golden eagles, 10 saltwater crocodiles, 3 brown bears, 7 bull cattle, 1 human, 15 gray wolves, 10,000 rats, 5 lowland gorillas, and 4 African lions. To start, let's take a look at the stats of each contender in the fight. So eagles easily have the highest mobility out of all the options here, as they're the only option with the ability to fly. With mid to high damage and intelligence,
the Nordic guilds are such normies. Dude, straight up. God, I can talk about this for hours. The Nordic guilds used to be one of the most dominant fucking guild. They literally, they had clans where they would do clan raids, okay? On the Anglo-Saxon region, on the fucking English basically, and their territorial expansion was massive. It was really good, but unfortunately the Saxons put up way too hard of a fight, and ultimately they just kind of keep to themselves nowadays. They're very chill, very cool. They don't really do too much. Hold on, I'm gonna subscribe to him. Very good.
Coupled with the second highest group size on the list, they're looking pretty viable. Next we have the saltwater crocodile.
Yeah, the UK guild used to be what basically the fucking US guild mapped their success over, but the UK guild is probably the greatest story of failure. Like the colony lead that they had was tremendous, and now they are reduced to a fucking island the size of a nugget with no discernible natural resources. It's not good. Their main, yeah, they had a huge their charisma nerf was absolutely done to themselves, okay, through a spec that the aristocracy engaged in called inbreeding. Okay, not good. I mean, 13 colony lead is pretty hard to fucking blow, and yet the UK guild literally did that. Not good. They had massive guild drama, broke up into a lot of successful guilds today. Yeah, they had a lot of internal strife. I mean, they grew too much. That's what happens. The Spanish guild nearly killed themselves in the 1930s. Oh, Jesus. Isn't the banker class OP with the capitalism expansion pack? True. It is pretty fucking solid. Yeah, you've had some crazy fucking guilds throughout time where like they blow up and you know they really fucking beef up the tech expansion, and with respect to where they were, like when other guilds were really developing, like you have the USSR guild that hyper focused on expansion, and it was short lived in the grand scheme of things, but they did a lot, and part of the Part of the reason why Russia is still seen as like a serious adversary is a consequence of like what the guild used to look like. The Dutch guild went from sailing ships to grow flowers to smoking them.
It's got the highest power stat of any animal on this list, and could easily one-shot anything it can get its jaws on, but it also has the lowest mobility of any option here, at least on land anyway. Next up we have the bear. None of its stats are the highest of their respective category, but combined they do easily have the highest base stat total, but they also have the second lowest group size of all the options. Next we have the bulls. Bulls have the highest HP and defense of any option on this list, and their power and mobility stats are nothing to scoff at either. Next we have the human. The human has the highest intelligence stat of any of the options on this list, allowing it to use equipment. In the photo it appears to be armed with a rifle, meaning that it's the only option with a ranged attack. While normally a human's base power stat is pretty weak, with a rifle it jumps up to tie with the crocodile, which can one-shot any of the other contenders. Next up we've got the wolves. Excellent mobility plus decent intelligence and power, but low defense and HP. Notably also has the third highest group size. Next up we have the rats. The lowest base stat total by far, but also the highest group size, beating the next highest by 3 orders of magnitude. Next we've got the gorillas, very comparable to bears.
Wait, if it's one human versus 1,000 rats, like, that's OP. Rats win, dude. What the fuck? Yeah, what are you going to do? You don't have enough, unless he, like, literally is cheating and the devs gave him unlimited ammunition. I doubt the human's going to be able to fucking... 10,000 rats will fucking own the human. All these other fucking teams would destroy.
Except with slightly lower stats and a slightly larger group size.
Yeah.
Last we have the lions. Very high damage output.
The plague passive is OP. Like it literally, you might not be able to win in the short term, but like long term, the plague passive destroys you. And it doesn't even have any, like, the human barely, if they haven't beefed up their intelligence skills, like, they're probably, like, you know, if they're conservative or something, they don't even believe in that shit, so they immediately die. They're, like, uniquely vulnerable. It's really fucked up.
Plus the highest stealth of all the options available. Pretty low group size, but a powerful contender nonetheless. Alright, so now I'm going to rank them on the tier list as whether or not I see them as good choices.
Pick 2 of the options to fight against the other 7?
Keep in mind, this is specifically ranking them as to how useful they'd be defending you in this situation, as well as how important it is that they aren't part of the opposition.
This is so stupid, I love it.
The bottom tier picks are going to be the gorillas and the bulls.
Also, it's top of the hour every hour, and I gotta go pee real quick as well, but I'm gonna run an ad right now. And then I think the AOC stream is gonna start soon as well, so we'll in a little bit, so we're gonna tune into that. I'm unfortunately not a part of it, of course, but I will be watching from afar. Like you, the viewer, I will also be watching from afar, from the other side of the window going, oh, why am I not here? Why am I not allowed? Just kidding. Anyway, but here's the ad. If you want to avoid the ads, you know what to do. All you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Ladies and gentlemen, by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you can get 1 free Prime subscription. Here's the ad. Here's the video.
Gorillas are strong,
I'm gonna go pee
but
real
every
quick.
other option that has strength as its main factor is actually stronger. Gorillas are not going to win in a one-on-one fight with bears, bulls, or crocodiles. They could potentially hold their own against lions, if they are able to see them coming before it's too late. But lions are stealthy, and I highly doubt they'd have trouble ambushing gorillas. But more importantly, gorillas don't really offer any unique advantages on defense. Strong as they are, defending against an armada of other animals requires strategy, and 5 gorillas just don't seem that useful for that. The cattle have a similar problem. Honestly, the cattle's biggest strength is that it's an unstoppable solid wall of mass. It would be really useful for breaching a defensive wall. If we were to flip the script and say choose 2 and send them on a mission to eliminate the VIP, cattle would be a lot higher on the tier list. In D tier, I'm placing the bear. Honestly, if this list only had 1 of everything, I think I'd pick the bear. It's the best jack of all trades option, but the low group size is really holding it back. In C tier, I'm going to place all of the builds which would be better or worse depending on the environment the battle takes place in. If there's cover to hide in, like bushes or tall grass, lions would be a huge threat. They could potentially take out larger threats before they even have a chance to reach the VP. And crocodiles could do the same. If I were allowed to choose the starting locations for everything in this situation, I would choose an island. Then all of the aggressors would be forced to swim to me, leaving them hilariously wide open to be insta-killed by crocodiles. But if the situation is a level playing field, like a simple wide open grassland, neither of these builds really have much of a purpose. In B tier, I'm placing the pack of wolves. Wolves and dogs are excellent at crowd control and could reasonably be tasked with diverting charging animals away from a VIP. While they do have low HP, they could easily dodge attacks from the other builds on the list, except for maybe the lion, but I think their numbers would be enough to deter them. Wolves are also much more trainable than the other options on this list. So I'm not exactly sure how much control over the other animals is expected, but if it's contingent on their ability to understand commands, wolves are definitely standouts in that regard. Okay, so in A tier, I'm gonna do something a bit controversial and actually place the human here. The human is alone and armed only with a bolt-action rifle, meaning defending against multiple targets is extremely difficult. It would almost certainly lose if put in a fight with any of the other options on this list. But it's more important to note that the human does not need to win against any of the other animals. All it needs to do is land a clean shot on the VIP, which it can feasibly do from nearly a kilometer away. And so if the VIP does not choose the human as one of its defenders, they need a way to deal with them. Initially, I thought that was impossible and was going to place them at top tier. But after thinking it through further, the human actually does have some hard counters. That's why I think the top tier choices are going to be the ones that can deal with the sniper effectively while also serving other purposes. And the best option for this is the eagles. The eagles could circle the battlefield looking for the sniper, and due to their excellent eyesight, they could almost certainly see him before he sees the VIP. Then they could easily go for the eyes and make it so the sniper can't aim accurately, effectively making him a total non-threat. They could then easily harass the rest of the attacking.
Bro, this dude puts so much effort into this. It's crazy. AOC stream is not like actually fucking live, dude. What do you want me to do? I'll tune into it when they're like literally live. Also, I'm assuming a bunch of my moderators are also moderating that as well. But
Army, attempting to blind them and make them unable to complete their mission.
New whale
Obviously,
class?
the top choice
What?
is the rats. If you don't pick this as one of your two, you're gonna get overrun immediately. Choosing the rats and eagles.
Bro, new whale just dropped. Why did Why did NPR tweet like this? Is this a joke? Am I going crazy? What the fuck?
Means you have over 200 rats to pit against every other combatant, which is more than enough to win the fight. Strong as bears are, 200 rats will still be able to take them down, especially if they've had their vision damaged by eagles. So there you have it, rats and eagles is the correct choice. You can all stop sending me this meme on Twitter now. But picking the right options is difficult without a guide who knows their stuff. This is true for animal deathmatch puzzles, but is also true when it comes to knowing which stocks to invest in. This is why I highly recommend the class Investing 101, which is taught by my friend.
Oh no.